my Congress research was on the deep web, and there's a lot of drugs and human trafficking there. So yeah.
Is that how you got it?
Are you serious?
Wow.
What the heck is that?
So
Nerd.
brutal.
My grandma invented you.
Come on, Scrub. Come on.
Wow.
Wow.
Ever feel like this, scrub? I thought you did. Well, worry no more. In this video, we'll be teaching you how to research for congressional debate, which is a mock legislative assembly competition where students draft bills and resolutions which they and their peers later debate and vote to pass into law. The coaches I will be teaching today are Simon, Pratyush, and Matt, aka DJ M. Chung. After watching this video, there's no way you'll keep being that same old lame old scrub. I'm Simon. This is my second year in speech and debate. My events are Congress, PF, Impromptu, and Extemp. I've been doing Congress research for 2 years, and my teammates say my research is pretty solid, so probably listen to me.
Hi, my name is Pratyush, and I've been doing the speech and debate for 3 years now. Over these 3 years, I've done events like public forum debate, Congress, Extemp, Impromptu, and things like that. And I've mainly dabbled around public forum debate my first 2 years, and in my third year, which is this year, I did more Congress and Extemp, and these events have seriously given me the experience and knowledge to be put in those positions to talk about it.
I'm Matt. I've been doing speech and debate for 2 years, and I've done the events PF, Extempt, Congress, and Impromptu. Now, for both of those years, I've done Congress, so I am actually pretty experienced in this topic.
Alright, so now we're going to look at the format of the actual bill brief itself now. So on the first page, you're going to have a copy of the bill or resolution text, and below that, you'll have the title, who it's researched by, and the school the resolution is from. This information can be found right under the bill or resolution text. Then below it, you have the summary or legislative analysis. So what you want to do in this is basically sum up the information of the bill text in 1 or 2 sentences and give enough background information so that the reader of this bill brief can understand what this bill is asking for within minutes. And to do so, you need to be very concise and very brief and make this bill brief as simple as possible. So for this bill about health insurance, for background information, I just gave some information about health insurance in the current status quo, and that'll help my reader understand this bill more easily.
So after writing the summary, you're going to write your points down, and for each side there are going to be 6 points. And for each point, there's going to be 2 cards, and generally these are going to have to be from separate sources. So what you're going to look for is facts and statistics, as those are what are actually useful over opinions of figures of people. So when you copy and paste these sources, you're going to include full names and source names, as well as dates of publication. So as you paste these, you're going to have to bold important information that you want to highlight for the reader to use in their speech.
Alright, so now this is the most important part of this whole video, how to actually come up with points for researching. Now, usually you can just plug in the main topic of the bill into Google and search up pros and cons, and you can get enough results. However, if the bill's too obscure, then I'm sorry, you're going to have to use your brain. So, things you can look at are domestic interests, how it benefits the United States, international interests, how implementing this bill would benefit the whole world, U.S. and non-U.S. countries, and then foreign interests. This usually works for foreign bills, such as this one about Guantanamo Bay. And basically foreign interests is how it benefits the country in question. So by giving Guantanamo Bay back to Cuba, how would this benefit Cuba? Then you can look at costs versus benefits of implementing the bill. It's pretty self-explanatory. And you can also look at status quo. So the current an example of this would be the current status quo of the deep web is that there aren't really any limitations on it. So this means that there's illegal drug trafficking, there's illegal human assassination, there's identity theft. These are all harms of the status quo. Then there's something called looking at the theoretical future. An example of this would be for the Deep Web bill. In order to support privacy and protect the people, there must be new policies. So in a theoretical future where this bill is passed, then there will be privacy and security for the people. That's what this point is, and this is basically an example of looking at the theoretical future. Now, if you can't think of any more points, then you can look at blocks and counterplans. Now, blocks, what you do for blocks is you basically go to one side, look for the most important points. For this one, it's basically security. Go to the opposite side. Now, think of arguments against that. So, arguments against security would be basically losing privacy, and I'd find some points on that, and those would be sufficient for my blocks. Then you can also make counterplans and arguments. Now for this Guantanamo Bay, it only talks about giving the base back or keeping the base, or the bay as a whole. Now, for the negative, I have a point that's just internationalizing the base as a whole. This isn't either one of those options, but it still works, because I found a card from Huffington Post that basically said that you can internationalize the base and use it for large-scale disaster relief efforts, humanitarian relief work, and stuff like that. So by giving counterplans, you're able to change the course of the debate altogether. This will ultimately help you basically make yourself stand out from other people.
Now, along with all the research for each side on a bill comes summaries. Now, each side has its own summary. What these summaries do is that they summarize what the side is trying to advocate. It gives out the most important points and all the points overall. And it basically tells the reader how to argue these points and what to do in the round if they're going on this side. Now let's take another example. This is the same example of the legal limitations on the deep web. Now in here on the affirmative summary, you see that there's going to be less drug trafficking, human assassination, identity thefts, terrorist communication, and illegal weapon acquisition by regulating and monitoring the deep web. Those are clear benefits that you see from the pro side. But what's highlighted here is what's most important. And what this is saying is that it's only worth having privacy as long as you have security with it. And by passing this bill, you will have security with it, and that's what we should look towards in the long run. So ultimately, what summaries do is that they summarize how to debate this argument, how to debate all the arguments on this side, and what the most important arguments are overall.
Alright, so now that you're done with your Congress bill, you're going to want to go to Dropbox and sign in, and then go to the Congress folder. Now you're going to go to the folder that you made the bill for. In this case, it's now called Congress. And you're going to go to the upload button, which is up there. Now, you're going to want to find your folder from the computer. And there it is. And now the file is uploaded and you're done. So if you have any problems with uploading the folder, then you should probably contact Ms. Albert at a reasonable time before the tournament.